What up, family? It's Jermaine, and today we're diving deep into one of the most misunderstood topics in the credit world. Everybody's heard of freezing your credit with Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. But what about the secondary credit bureaus? Should you freeze them when you're doing disputes? Will this help you get deletions faster? Or can it hurt your progress? Guess what? By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly when to freeze, when not to freeze, and how to use this strategy like a professional. So grab a notepad because this one's going to change how you look at credit repair forever. What are secondary credit bureaus? Most people only know the big three: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. But behind those three data engines that feed them information, these are called secondary credit bureaus. They include LexisNexis, CoreLogic, Innovis, SageStream, also known as Risk Review, Check Systems, Clarity Services, Factor Trust, ARS, and Telecheck. They don't give you a score, but they verify your identity, your address, your employment, your public records, and even your rental or payday loan history. When you dispute something with Experian and it comes back verified, Experian didn't verify it themselves. They pulled the verification from one of these companies. So these secondary bureaus are the back-end verification system that keeps your credit file alive. Now let me explain how the data flows, because once you understand this, everything else makes sense. Information about you, addresses, accounts, court records, first collected by the secondary bureaus. They sell or share that data with the big three. Then the big three use it to build your credit file and verify disputes. So when freezing LexisNexis, CoreLogic, you're basically cutting off the data pipeline. That means Experian can't access those sources to double check the information. Sometimes when that happens, they'll mark an account as unable to verify and delete it. That's why people online, hey, I froze everything and got deletions fast. But those deletions don't always last. Here's the truth. When you freeze those bureaus, you're not proving that the data is wrong. You're just blocking access to it. So if the big three can't verify, they temporarily remove the items. But once you unfreeze those bureaus, the data flow opens back up and the same account can reappear. That's what we call a false deletion or a ghost deletion. It looks good for a few weeks, but it's not permanent because the underlying data, the stuff inside LexisNexis or CoreLogic, was never fixed. That's why freezing isn't a magic trick or timing. Let's talk about when freezing makes sense, because there are times when it's absolutely the right move. If you're dealing with public records, things like bankruptcies, judgments, or tax liens, those are verified directly through LexisNexis and CoreLogic. Freezing those bureaus before disputing those items can stop the verification process completely. It's also smart to freeze if you're dealing with identity theft or fraud. That prevents your data from being shared or sold while cleaning things up. So freezing makes sense when you're protecting your identity or when you're blocking public record verification. That's when it's a strategic move, not a random one. Now, here's when you don't want to freeze. If you're doing regular disputes like credit cards, collections, or loans, Freezing can actually backfire. You might get a quick deletion, but when you unfreeze, it comes right back. And if you're applying for new credit or trying to build new accounts, freezing those bureaus can block lenders from verifying your identity, which can cause denials. So during normal disputes or while you're building your credit, keep those secondary bureaus open. Freezing is not a shortcut. It's a strategy. So here's how the pros handle it, step by step. Number 1, pull your LexisNexis and CoreLogic reports directly. You can request them for free once a year. Number 2, review those reports carefully. Look for old addresses, outdated employers, or public records that shouldn't be there. Number 3, dispute and clean up any inaccurate data directly with those bureaus. Once the data is corrected, that's when you move to step 4, which is the freeze. Freeze those bureaus to lock in a clean data. That way, the next time Experian or Equifax tries to verify something, they're pulling from accurate information, not old errors. That's how you make deletions stick for good. Let's recap this clearly so you can screenshot it or write it down. When to freeze: bankruptcies, judgments, liens, identity theft, or fraud. After cleaning up LexisNexis or CoreLogic, when not to freeze. Let's break this down. Regular credit disputes, applying for new credit, building new accounts. Bottom line, freezing is about control, not hiding. Clean first, then freeze. That's the professional way to do it. Now, let me give you a few bonus gems most people never mention. LexisNexis keeps decades of address and court data, even if you delete it from your Jermaine report. CoreLogic owns Safe Rent and Rental Karma, which tracks your rental history. Innovis is connected to Factor Trust, which tracks subprime and short-term loans. Check Systems and Telecheck monitors your banking behavior, overdrafts, closures, and check writing. So when you freeze those bureaus, you're not just freezing credit data, you're freezing identity data. That's why you have to be intentional. If you freeze everything blindly, you might block the very data you need for approvals and verification. But if you freeze strategically after cleaning up your reports, you're protecting yourself while keeping control. So here is the very big takeaway. Freezing your secondary bureaus is not about tricking the system. It's about controlling the system. You want to know when to freeze, when to unfreeze, how to clean up the data at the source. That's how you turn short-term deletions into permanent results. Control the data and you control the credit. If you want my exact freeze and unfreeze sequence, the timing, the websites, and the templates, that's all inside my private community. It's only $21 a month and you get Credit Complete Pro, Debt Negotiator Pro, live coaching every single Monday. We go step by step through everything so you can master your credit the right way. Hit the link in the description to join us today. And if this video has helped you, make sure to like and subscribe and share this with 2 or 3 of your friends who are ready to take control of their credit. If you have any questions, put it down in the comment section. I promise I'll answer it. And like I always state, you be great.